When we read this book, the Quran, Allah first opens our mind and our hearts. We read it. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. And we read those 7 verses. That opens us up. That opens us up. That prepares us. And in the very next chapter, Surat al-Baqarah, he starts to reveal to us the formula for success. He opens us up, then he starts to fill that vessel with the information, with the spirit, with the knowledge that is needed for us to be successful as Muslims. He's given us, he says, my word, the Quran. There's no doubt guidance in this book for those who fear Allah, who believe in the unseen, have that faith, establish your prayers, and spend out of what we have provided for you. These are the pillars of our religion. So we are to give of what Allah has provided for us. And the more we have, the more we can give. So if we're just dealing with the Quran and we apply that concept, and the more of the Quran that we have, the more we ingest this book, absorb the words of Allah, then if the obligation is on us to give that which Allah has blessed us with, the more you go to work, the more money you can make, the more money you can give. The more you study, the more education you get, the more knowledge you have, the more you can teach. The more of this Quran that we give ourselves, the more we can redistribute this information to the people. Because we believe that what is in this book is the cure for the ailments that plague humanity. What we believe is in this book is the correction for all of the confusion that has came before. What we believe is in this book is the protection from the schemes of the shaitan. We just talked about the scams on the phones when people are calling you. Well, we believe that the scams that the shaitan is devising to trick us into giving up all of our valuable information so that the shaitan can hoard it and lock it away in a cage somewhere, that this book is the answer to free all of that which is trying to be locked up in hell. And who is charged with the responsibility of carrying the knowledge in this book, carrying it, walking with it, and handing it out to those who need it? We talked last week about righteousness. What is righteousness? Healing the sick, freeing the slave. Well, what tools do you use to heal the sick and free the slave? You use what Allah has given you. And speaking on value, and Imam Morfi Muhammad was very, very adamant about promoting this to the believers. When you deal with the Quran, we came from a situation where we was taking the Bible and people was throwing it in the back seat of their car, using it to balance out their coffee table when it was off balance, carrying it around in their back pocket, sitting on it. He said, you take the Quran and you put this in the highest place in your home. You take the Quran and you take everything off the top shelf on your bookshelf and put the Quran up there. And with nothing else, so that we can start to recondition our mind to respect the value of this book. And that's why there's guidelines when you open this book. You don't come from doing yard work or using the restroom and just open up the Quran and start reading it. You wash your hands. Take a shower. Before you open up this book, you say a dua. That's the respect that goes into this book because we understand the value of it. Our Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, when he was revealed this book, at first he didn't understand what was going on. But he inquired and he searched for understanding. And he concluded that this was the answer to his call for help from Allah. What Allah was revealing to him, the context that's in this Quran, he came to the understanding that this was the answer. This was the response to his call to Almighty God Allah, his prayers. And he started his path to success. So he took the aid that Allah gave him and he used it to fix and fight against the wrongs in society. He took what Allah blessed him with. He took the revelation that Allah gave him and he started to distribute it through the land. He was paying zakat. He took the wealth of knowledge that Allah gave him and redistributed it to the people. He was paying zakat. He took what Allah gave him and used it to fight against evil. And we are instructed in our religion to follow the best example for us. And that is the Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And who was Prophet Muhammad, as the question was asked? The Prophet's wife is quoted as saying that he was the Quran walking. So we are instructed to follow the best example of our Prophet, then we should strive to be the Quran walking. We should strive now his wife now. Remember, when he got revealed the Quran, you remember who he went to first to say, what's going on? It was his wife. So, again, we're talking about value. We're not going to devalue her when she says one thing, but then value her when Allah sent the Prophet to confide in her. What's going on? I'm confused. I'm getting this revelation. I'm getting visions and I'm hearing things. What's going on? Now, she could have been like some of these women out here and been like, oh, baby, you going crazy. Now, lay down, let me cook you something to eat. She said, no, let's figure this out. And she went on that journey with him until he could find out what that meant. So what are we to do? We read something in the Quran, it don't sit right with us. Do we just say, oh, that's it? Or do we let someone else interpret to us what it says? Or do we seek out the understanding? If we're really using our prophet as an example, then we have to look at the details. We have to look at the details. We have to look at the small things. We can't just look at the big things where the prophet walked in the desert. Then we just go walk in the desert. We aren't even trying to find out why he walked in the desert, where he was going when he walked in the desert, who he was with, what revelation came to him. Well, the Quran says that you can do this. Well, when was that revealed? Who was that revealed to? Who was the prophet talking to when that was revealed? We got to do some research if we're going to be the Quran walking. Because this Quran is for us, yes, but Allah is giving us the wealth and the knowledge in this Quran so that we can distribute it to other people. So everybody's not where we are. We're Muslims. We're dealing with our mother and our father, our children. We're dealing with our co-workers, our aunties and uncles, our cousins, and everybody's got different levels of understanding. Some of them is lost out here in the street. Some of them is coming from Christianity. Some of them is Jew. Some of them is Hebrew Israelites. Some people is rich. Some people is poor. So you got to take a verse in this Quran and distribute it to all those individuals differently, so they can get the goal in this whole thing. Is that we trying to pull out the Muslim in them. That's the key, to pull out the Muslim in them. We have to make them recognize that they are Muslim. Sometimes I don't even use the word Muslim. And everybody disagrees with everything I'm saying. Yeah, you're right, brother. You're right. Yeah, because you submit your will to God too, don't you? Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You follow Jesus, don't you? Yeah. Does Jesus submit his will to God? Yeah. Was Jesus a Muslim? No. See? So we got to learn. We have to learn. How do we learn? We let Allah teach us. We learn from what Allah has given us. In closing, I'm running over time. Zakat is an obligation on the believers. We have something else in our religion called dawah, the giving or distribution of the good news, promoting this religion. We have to have efforts in dawah. This is how the religion spreads. This is how people become informed. So we have to give dawah, even to ourselves. But let us not, because we have a little knowledge and we're making our prayers and we got Muslim names and everybody knows we're Muslim, let us not forget that there is no level of al-Islam that you can reach to where, you've gotten to some level to where you don't need to learn anymore. Allah gave you a brain, and the brain has no capacity. There's no cap on the brain. There's no cap on this religion. It's universal for all times. We are not going to be here forever. So let us not forget that. Let us remember that the zakat is more than just paying our money. We don't give our money and then leave and say, I fulfill my obligation. The zakat is the redistribution or the spending of that which Allah has given you. Please join me in a dua as we close. Oh Allah, bless us all with the strength and the understanding to carry this religion, to be a benefit to humanity, society. Help us to use your words, the Quran, as a fixer, as a tool to help those who need it, to help ourselves, and to establish success. Ameen.